Just waiting for Jim and Joe to give me some good news. It's 8 o'clock. Where are you guys? Waiting for my good news. Get your fat ass online already.
Well, they say it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmys and the Joes.
It was a legitimate call. It made sense. It was pass interference. I don't care what anybody says. That was pass interference, offensive pass interference.
Yeah.
Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk from two men in the know. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
And you can win under pressure when it's there. You call runs when you're not supposed to, and Dak Prescott is throwing it in the dirt.
You know, I'm convinced that Jameis Winston is going to have an ESPN special 30 for 30.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee, and alongside of me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, know-it-alls, for another edition of Football on the Know Show. Can't wait to go. We are talking draft this episode. It's so exciting. We're getting closer, everybody. We're what 3 weeks away? About that? 2 weeks away? Something like that? But it's getting crazy. We're starting to hear a lot of rumors. We're starting to hear a lot of things going on, a lot of things happening. Guys are moving up draft boards. Guys are starting to slip, starting to fall. But before we get to that, we got some NFL things that are happening.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the draft has been what everybody's been talking about because, again, not a whole lot going on in the sports world right now. Things are kind of dire at times here. But the interesting thing is, again, people are wondering what's going to go on here with the NFL draft. How are they going to do this? Are they going to be – we talked about this on our last episode. Right. Were they going to be set up in their facility and then still just do it from there via phone or Skype or whatever they might be doing, group meetings? And now the NFL, right after like last Friday when we were on, they came right out and said, no, now you guys have to stay at home. So now it's going to be everybody's at home now. And, of course, everybody's going to come out with just crazy things like, oh, what if their kid runs by and then they've got to stop what they're doing and they have a few seconds left to make that pick and now, man, or what if they lose their internet, it drops out, or what if, somebody's, picking up another thing on their microphone, or what if this, or what if everybody gets hacked?
A lot of what ifs.
So a lot of virtual stuff going on. They are doing a trial run, I heard, on how this is they're going to
do several of them. And it's funny because I saw, like, when that article came out, when the announcement was made, there was a couple of football fans that kind of chimed in and just kind of like joking around stuff. They're like, oh, well, I guess we're all going to find out who's picking who now. Since they're doing trial runs, we're already going to know what the draft is going to be because they're all just going to pick it. No, they're just doing it for communication-wise and everything, obviously. And obviously they were joking around.
Yeah, they're like, I picked Bozo the Clown.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
Oh, I wanted him.
Oh, man, he's got such a red nose. I needed him. But no, they're going to do the trial run. And listen, this goes like last week we talked about, what the NFL is dealing with this, this tragedy with COVID-19 happening around us and the social distancing that we have to follow and everything and what everybody should be doing, keeping your hands clean, so on and so forth. But now we're in a different age to this point for the NFL. It's very different. They decided to go forward with the draft. They are taking all the necessary precautions that you could possibly take. And now the NFL went what we once thought this time last week. We thought that training facilities, they were still going to be able to go to the training facilities, but not a lot of people. Only going to be about 3 or 4 guys, something like that, all using social distancing, get to go in there and into the war room and run the draft how they normally would run it. Now, that's not happening either. Now everybody, the NFL has announced that everybody is staying home. Everybody is required to stay home. Do not leave your house. Don't go to the training facilities. Have all been closed down per NFL. And they want everybody to stay home and do the draft from home. And just like you were mentioning, Jim, a couple of the concerns that some of these coaches and GMs and the owners are having is, the communication. Is the communication going to still be fluid? Is the communication not going to ever break down? Also, the big thing is bandwidth. They're worried about the bandwidth. With the NFL draft going on, and you have 32 teams with their personnel all trying to interconnect and talk and watch video and so on and so forth and look at their draft board and all these things that are going to go into these draft picks and of these prospects. Is it gonna fail? Well, the NFL that's the whole reason why they're doing these trial runs. Is they do these trial runs to see if it runs as smooth as they're hoping it would run. They're doing these trial runs so that way, almost like a rehearsal, everybody's going to get a taste of what it's going to be like for them. And then there's those worries and concerns. They'll still kind of be there underlining, but they'll kind of go away. They'll be like, okay, well, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? That kind of reaction. So, yes, it's a very different way of doing the draft, but I think this will go just fine. It'll go according to plan. I know that there's a lot of concerns, like you were saying, like, what if something – the NFL has taken precautions. If something happens, like, say, someone loses their Wi-Fi, it just drops, they're able to call in. You know what I mean? Like, there's other stages where they'll have plan B and plan C if something was to happen. So – yeah, I think they'll be just fine, and just like there's ESPN is going to be covering the draft like they normally would. Obviously, they'll be doing social distancing, so you'll see Mel, you'll see Todd, and you'll see Trey. I also heard that since the NFL Network themselves aren't going to be covering it for the first time this season, because they've kind of shut down everything. Rich Eisen is going to be appearing on ESPN in their draft special.
Yeah.
But my thing was like, okay, Rich Eisen going over there, but Trey's the host. Yeah. He's always been the host for ESPN. So what is Rich going to really be doing over there?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Maybe they can just, reminisce and
here,
talk
you
a little
get
bit
this
too.
segment. I got the next
go
one.
back and forth. We'll see. Who knows with that. But it's very interesting what's going to go on there. It's going to be different. And
it's very different.
I think one of the interesting things that Adam Schefter brought up before, he's been against this whole time. I mean, he's livid. He's super
what an
hot.
angry
and
leprechaun.
He thinks now because of this, especially if teams will get the same amount of time here on the clock that they did before, that, trying to make trades, there will be less trades going on because of this whole scenario and how they're doing it. Less teams will be able to interact with each other that quickly and propose your trades and so he thinks there'll be less movement going on in this particular draft. It might be, but I don't know. I don't see how this technology really limits that much because opposed to where they were together before, but they're still on the phone or something else to communicate. It's not like they're walking over.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want you want this over here? Yeah, all right, cool. Yeah.
But the funny thing about
over here, let them know.
The funny thing about all that is it's all done by phone. Yeah. It's done by conference call, and it's very cut and dry. Like we had a small example last week about it, but it's that straightforward. There's not this like kind of conversation that they have. Well, I was thinking, Jerry, I was thinking about this, and I wanted to pass it on. No, it's actually really cut and dry. They get right to the point right away. Ask, what do you want? What are you looking for? I'm going to offer you a second and third to do this. Hold on. They'll put them on hold. They'll talk to the GM, the owner, everything else. Then they'll go back. Take hold off. We'll do it. We're going to do that. Okay, put the paperwork in or make a phone call into the NFL. Boom, trade consummated. That's how it's going to go, just like normal, because it's all done by conference call anyway. So you're going to see them patch in. Like you'll probably have the conference call be between the GM, the head coach, and the other team's GM and head coach, and maybe even the owners as well, and to get the final okay from each, and boom, they're just going to have that conversation, be done with it, okay, yay or nay, and that's it. As far as adding extra time per pick, I know that was kind of brought up and speculated about, should they do it, should they not do it. It's going to – I don't want everybody to get so overwhelmed with the information that's coming out and saying like, wow, this is going to be a terrible process, a terrible draft. I think the communication is going to always be there. The picks are going to go as planned. They're going to be able to communicate with any one team or themselves, and it's going to go on, I think, pretty seamlessly. I don't foresee any kind of major difference in terms of communicating with each other to inhibit the draft itself with the draft picks or even trades. giving a team extra time, I don't know if that's a good idea. We already know that the first round lasts so long. That's why the first round is all by itself in one night. So, I mean, if you were to give any extra time, it can't be something crazy. Like, if you had an idea, like, what do they get now, 12 minutes?
Yeah.
They get 12 minutes, so maybe 2 extra minutes per pick. It's going almost back to the way it used to be. It used to be 15 minutes a pick,
minutes, yep.
and that was way too long. So maybe if you want to do with the circumstances, give them maybe 2 more minutes extra each pick. I'm sure NFL fans will be fine with sitting and watching the draft a little bit longer, right?
Exactly, right? You know, and it's funny when you bring this up. It made me think of something else too that Cody Cook had posted on our group page here, Football on the No Show. If you guys aren't a member on Facebook, Football on the No Show, make sure you join our group too. Also, if you are not watching us on YouTube and you're watching on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube as well. We have our YouTube channel going on, and also follow us on Twitter, FB_No. Let's get that out of the way. And
that was a mouthful.
Yeah. Now, but who was it? The
Steelers GM.
The Steelers GM brought up adding the next 3 rounds, go back to 10 rounds like they used to. You were absolutely not on this. I was kind of like, well, okay, that gives them a chance of, so that way, because you said, before last week when we had talked about what about these guys that isn't a lot of game film on,
right?
These guys that kind of get lost of it. This kind of gives another cushion to where maybe a few more of those guys can get matched up here, and possibly if the GMs didn't get the chance to see these guys so much, they've got a bigger group of guys to mix up through. And now, like you brought up in that post about the OTAs and things like, or unrestricted free agent signing period. Now teams can actually see some of that, what the teams or maybe talk to somebody and what they had seen in camp or whatever of this guy, or send somebody out there that they'll have a little more knowledge of this guy now, besides of what they saw in within his college games or what his his combine numbers were.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is it's all done by tape. Most of this is all done by tape. You know what?
But it's hard to find tape on some of these guys, though. Right?
No, it's not. The tape that they play with on college, whatever level it is, it's there. It's called coaches tape. We, as the public, don't get to see coaches tape. So they record every single game, every single snap is there. So teams have definitely enough opportunity to view all these different games, all these different players. Heck, if there's a tip from a coach way down deep in the South and they're in a Division III type of school, but he thinks that his player has an opportunity that could possibly make it, they'll tip him. Maybe they take a look at him, maybe they don't, but that's the team's decision. There's definitely enough game film out there for all these different prospects. Now, then you start to talk about power of the division that they're in, power of the competition that they have to face, and then you got to kind of make a judgment there as a team. But as far as giving 3 extra picks, I think that's already too much. We already see the compensatory picks that are kind of shelled out, and they are eating into the current draft. That's the problem I have the most, is compensatory picks I think are absolutely useless. Like, why should a team get rewarded for losing a said player into free agency because you didn't either A, re-sign him, or you just couldn't agree on a deal, and now he walks off into the sunset and goes to another team? Why should you be rewarded for losing that player? To me, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, here's a 3rd-round pick, New England. Oh, here's a 3rd-round pick, Houston, because you lost out on signing the guy? Now think about this. In the current draft, those compensatory picks eat up the player capital that's in there. So after the 3rd round is when the compensatory picks can start. Well, if you have 6 extra, it's like having 6 extra picks at the bottom of the 3rd round. And just imagine if they weren't there, the team that was picking in top of the 4th round, they could have had said player. But no, with the compensatory picks, that takes that option away. I think that's hindering some of the teams that have those picks up high, and they are deserving of at least having an opportunity to take that player instead of some of the teams that lose free agents.
So will you be more on board with just eliminating compensatory picks altogether, but possibly
regardless.
But what about it now? If they did that, now they decided to give these guys 3 extra rounds now.
No, because here's the thing: is for me, Get rid of the compensatory picks because they are absolutely ridiculous. The NFL has gone way too far with the handing out opportunities to take players before they should take them, before other teams get a chance to take them. Take those out, get rid of them. Adding three extra rounds because of what we're going through. No, those 3 extra picks. Think about this. Those 3 extra picks that you want, you want to try to take a chance on later on. I'm sorry, but that's what undrafted free agency's for. You can sign as many undrafted free agents. Yes, there's competition, obviously, at the end of the draft. Teams are always on the phones right away, trying to sign this guy, that guy, and this guy. But that's what that is for. That's what it is. Like, teams already have a list, and a big list after the draft is over, who they're interested in. Then they can go on attack and call these agents and see if they can get them to sign. That's what it is. You don't even need 3 extra round picks because that's what that's for. I understand that you have a chance. You're not going to get the guys you want sometimes. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it doesn't. But that's the same as even in the draft. Sometimes a team 2 picks before you takes a guy that you really, really wanted, and you got to alter your plan. You got to change it up and kind of go with it. So I don't agree with adding 3 extra picks. I think one is – I'm all for extending the draft, believe me. But when you get get farther down the line, these are going to be guys that you have no clue who the heck they are anyway as a fan. And I just think why change something that's already working?
Okay, I hear you there. All right, we've got Michael Guerrero in the house. Yeah, he said, good show, guys. Jason Witten, I feel he's signed to learn broadcasting under Gruden. Any thoughts? Yeah, maybe he did.
Yes.
I mean, you never know.
Excellent.
Maybe he got a little better, and along the ways.
I
who
could
knows?
just imagine
that could be
it
part
now.
of it. That's a little perk. I'd say that's a perk. Aside
Yeah,
from
right. And that's the thing too is Gruden could be coaching him up to be a good broadcaster because Gruden could teach him how to do the little stare, the little one eye.
What he's got to teach him is not to contradict what you're saying. Just stick with what you're going to say
and stop
you know
tripping
what I mean?
over your words.
Yeah, that's true too.
You know.
And yeah, okay. And then he says here, and with the 12th pick, the mighty Las Vegas Raiders select CeeDee Lamb. Dun, dun, dun. We will see. We're not sure, but
I'll tell you right now. And the funny thing is about the draft, and you guys, all you know-it-alls know this already, is every single year there's surprises.
Yeah.
Every single year.
No matter
and
what.
we just don't know what team it is or teams. We've seen some crazy trades before. We've seen some surprising picks. So who knows what's going to happen with this draft? I think this draft right here is more unpredictable than in recent years past.
yeah,
I think this is going to be
because we don't know what we're going to see for one.
Exactly. It's going to be very exciting. Obviously, the top maybe 2 to 3 picks are almost pretty much locks. Everybody expects these teams, if they stay in those spots, everybody pretty much knows, can almost guarantee it that they already know the players that are going. But after 3, it's a whole other ball game. There's a lot of different avenues teams could go. It might surprise some of the fans on who they pick, what position they go for, or even a trade that happens might blow your mind. So it's going to be exciting. Can't wait. It's almost here, guys. And it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and one thing you
can't
guarantee is that Roger Goodell isn't going to get booed this time. When he comes up, every time.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There's no
He's going to be
stage.
in the comfort of his own
That's
home.
right. It's going
Unless
to be
they
great.
boo him at home. That could be really bad.
You know what's funny is that Roger probably thought about this and said, hey, you know what? Maybe we just don't do the draft at all and just make everybody stay. Yeah, that sounds good. I can stay home and I don't have to answer to the fans.
Who knows? All right, there we go. So, the draft is coming up. It's going to go virtual. We're going to learn more about this as it's closing in. By the way, again, in advance, Easter's coming up on Sunday. So, happy Easter to everybody out there coming up. It's going to be a time where I know everybody's been together with their family a lot who've had to stay home because of the COVID-19 and everything that's going on. By the way, I hope everyone's safe and everybody's staying with the social distancing and all that. And but this is a time where everybody can be together and enjoy a holiday together. And let's think about the pleasant things in life right now, and keep pushing forward. Pushing forward, talking about that, we're going to get into Joe decided to come up with, he's been crunching hard at some of this here.
Oh, my God.
And decided to come up with some lists here. He's got his top 10 list going on. He's got the top 5 tight ends coming up. And then he's going with the top 10 quarterbacks and then the top 10 wide receivers for you. So, Joe, why don't you hit up the music here?
Be
see what we got
prepared
here.
to be disappointed.
All right, here we go. Hit the music, Joe, and then we'll move on to Joe's top 5 tight ends here. You know, this is the top 10 tight ends coming in through the draft, by the way. Let me make that clear here. It's coming in through the draft. Joe's top 10 or top 5 tight ends here. Here we go. Number 5 here. Go, Joe. You can list them off.
Number
here.
5, we have Jacob Breland at tight end. This is a kid that he's athletic. He played on Oregon, played with Justin Herbert. He was athletic, a good receiver from the position. Also, it looks like on tape, it looks like he has the ability to block, although he was used more in the receiving game than the blocking game. And I just feel that with some development, with his blocking skills, he could be a real difference maker.
I don't know. The music's not working, but there you go. It's Jacob Breland here. All right, coming in at number 4. What do we got?
Number 4, we have Albert O, also known as Albert Okwegbunam. That's right. It's a
mouthful.
It's a tongue twister too. Like it is absolutely incredible how long this guy's last name is and how difficult it is to pronounce. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. But bear with me. This guy is a super freak athlete at tight end. A guy that ran a 4.5 40 as a big, lanky tight end that he is. Very tall, lanky. He does need to put some muscle on that body. He has plenty of room to put it on, and he could be a real big receiving threat for our lucky team. At number 3, we have Sean McKinnon. Yep, that's right. Michigan alum. The guy he's a blue chip type of player, good tight end, has solid hands, has some blocking ability to go with his receive. He isn't the most athletic, isn't the fastest guy, but he is a blue chip player, is a football player, and I have him at number 3 coming out of Michigan. Still needs to be developed. But now we're going on to number 2. Number 2 is Notre Dame's only Cole Kmet. This guy is a gigantic human being. 6'6", 250, 260 type of tight end. He with a little bit of development, with about a year or 2, I think this guy could really be a threat for either receiving. He's also a really good blocker already, so he's a two-way type of tight end, which is rare in college. Now he's getting into the NFL. He could be picked at number 1, but in terms of tight ends, but nonetheless, I have my guy. I know he's injured, but this is my guy all the way from LSU, Thaddeus Moss. That's right. It is Randy Moss's kid, and this dude is a bad man at tight end. He is not only a huge receiving threat, he runs good routes, very solid hands. He also blocks extremely well. The only knock on him, and that's why you'll see in a lot of other rankings, you'll see Thaddeus Moss drop way down low, is because he's been injured. He's going into the draft injured. He hasn't been able to do any workouts, wasn't able to do the combine, anything like that. So he's just going off of his game tape. But man, this kid is a baller. I watched some of his game tape. He is amazing. He's going to be a great tight end in the NFL. But I still have him as my number 1 because I don't care about injuries. If once this guy heals up, you're going to have an insane tight end.
All right, so there's Joe's top 5 tight ends here coming out of the draft here. All right, now let's move on to his top 10 wide receivers. Here we go. Coming in at number 10.
Number 10, we got Cole McDonald. That's right. McDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. He came from Hawaii and then went to Oregon and played. So Cole McDonald, he is a very mobile guy. He needs a lot.
Wide receivers. We're doing wide receivers. KJ.
Oh, we're doing wide receivers.
Yeah, we're doing wide receivers.
Oh,
sorry.
We're supposed to be on quarterbacks.
Oh, sorry.
Bro.
Oh, I can do quarterbacks. I'm sorry. Here we go. I screwed up.
Quarterbacks.
Here we go. Let's do it. Let's go to quarterbacks.
I don't want to unveil wide receivers.
All right.
Just yet.
Okay. Here we go. So there, it's your top 10 wide receiver or quarterbacks. Yeah, I did it again. I really want to do wide receivers, Joe. I'm just itching to do wide receivers. There you go. Top 10 quarterbacks. Here we go. You were right. Go ahead. Number 10.
Cole McDonald. So all that whole spiel got out. But anyway, Cole McDonald, he came from Hawaii. He's a very mobile quarterback. He does need a lot of development. He's a developmental type of quarterback, but I do like his upside. He has a strong arm. He has some accuracy issues, but again, if you work with him on his footwork, if he gets into just the right fit and can able to develop behind another quarterback, I think he would be a nice steal for somebody later. Number 9, I have a quarterback from out of Texas in Sam Ehlinger. There's something about this kid that I just absolutely like. Yes, he's another guy that is more of a developmental guy, but he just to me, he has like leadership skills that, you just can't teach leadership. He's great in the huddle. He's great on the football field. He's like a general. He demands respect, demands the attention of his teammates, and he's like more of like a kind of like a almost like a similar to Brett Favre, like a gunslinger type of guy. He does get a little careless, and I think that's why I do have him at number 9, but he does have to develop, and I think he's got the right stuff if he just sticks right in there for it.
All right.
At number 8, I know this one might surprise some of you, but Jacob Eason. That's right. I have Jacob Eason as my 8th quarterback. I am not super high on Jacob Eason. There's a lot of things not to like. There are something that he has that is phenomenal, and that's his rocket arm. I know a lot of people are enamored with how strong his arm is and everything, but there's a lot of other cons to his game. He is inaccurate. He does have an attitude problem, and if you got an attitude problem, we all seen how that gets you really far, right, in the NFL. So until he can curb that attitude problem and kind of develop behind someone, I don't see him going much higher. And above him, I have Jake Fromm from Georgia. Yes, doesn't have the strongest arm, but he is extremely accurate, and smart, which is what you need going into the NFL. He's already got the accuracy. He's got the smarts. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but hey, there's been quarterbacks before in the NFL that were just accurate and not have a strong arm. So I think he can make a difference for someone. Obviously, I think he would have to sit behind for about a year before he could even attempt to start in the league. And at number 6, I have a guy out of Colorado, in Steven Montez. I kind of fell in love with this guy out of the combine. Then I started to watch more of his clips. Steven Montez has a lot of upside. He has a lot to like. He has a very lively arm. He's accurate, but sometimes he makes a couple bad decisions here and there. In a game, he could be phenomenal and then make 2 really poor decisions, and that just kind of brings it right back down. But if Montez can further develop his game in the next level, I think he could be a monster steal for somebody. Number 5, I have Jalen Hurts. Now, Jalen Hurts is a name that a lot of people are becoming more familiar with because they see him. He's a mobile guy. He's a great athlete. He has a strong arm. There's some attributes to his game that he already has. He has size that you can't teach, but he already has. And he's super smart. And with all that mixed together, if you can just work with this kid a little bit more, get him a little bit more refined, I think you might have a starter. At number 4, I have from Oregon, Justin Herbert. I know a lot of other people have Justin Herbert rated higher, at least in the top 3, maybe top 2. But Herbert, I do like him. Don't get me wrong. But he's got great size. He's more mobile than you think. He's got a strong arm. He's got accuracy. He's got everything you're really looking for in a quarterback. But it's really about his mental makeup. I'm not really sure if he could be a leader. I'm not really sure if he's going to have – I know he's smart. It's just about his demeanor. There's something that I'm not really all in on Herbert because I don't see the fire. I don't see it. I need to see something like that. And then at number 3, I have Jordan Love. Yep, Jordan Love from Utah State. I really do love this kid. This kid has more upside than anybody in the draft. Now, a lot of people always point to last season and how he kind of declined major. It just kind of like took a nosedive last season in terms of stats, in terms of play. But when you lose like 9 guys on offense as starters and they go into the draft and your offense changes and your head coach changes, it's a lot of changes to deal with. Mm-hmm. He still tried to make things happen, just couldn't get past all those obstacles. And I think if you look at the year prior, he lit college football up. I think there's a lot to like with Jordan Love. There's a lot to build off of. Very strong arm, mobile. He's very smart. He is accurate. He just needs a little bit of refinement, and he could be a dynamite starter for somebody. And then we're getting into number 2. Number 2, we have. Well, I have Tua Tagovailoa. I changed.
You changed it last second?
Yeah.
Oh, way to go. Way to burn me on that one.
Yeah, I did. I got you on that one.
Okay.
But it's Tua Tagovailoa, and the only reason, and you could even say this, you can put Joe Burrow and Tua up there right now because I can say it's like 1A, 1B for me.
Okay.
And this is the reason why I originally did have Tua at number 1, and I said, you know what? The problem is with Tua, for me anyway, if he was 100% healthy and he had no issues going forward, there was no risk of him getting re-injured or anything like that, then he would be my number 1 quarterback. But because there is some doubt, because there is some concern, I had to drop Tua to number 2 just because of that. We just don't know when that injury could possibly come back, or maybe he just has a long and successful career. But it's that sense of doubt that kind of made me drop him to 2. And Joe Burrow is right there. He is deserving of the number 1 pick. He's super smart. He just does everything well, even in the pocket, which is amazing. When you watch him in the pocket, he moves these slight movements just to get a little bit out of harm's way, to give him a little bit more time, and then just with a flick of the wrist, delivers the ball right on time, right in perfect accuracy.
All right, there's Joe's top 10 quarterbacks here. Maybe a 1A, 1B here, flip-flop with Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa. There we go.
Got some know-it-alls in the chat.
Yeah, know-it-alls in the house. Sorry, we're trying to get to you guys here. We're getting the list through, but I want to say hi to everybody. James Farrell out there. It's a shout-out to him. Good to see you out there. He says hi. Hello. And Mike Tackett is in the house, too, as well, too. One of our favorite know-it-alls that comes in here. He's currently watching.
Show, guys.
He's currently watching the 2014 NFL Draft.
All right.
Mooch just compared Johnny Manziel to Fran Tarkington and Russell Wilson. Boy, this didn't age well. Hashtag never forget. There you go. I love that stuff. There's Mike Tackett in, always dropping some good stuff for here, some knowledge and some good laughs too as well too. So, Johnny Manziel, he's not even around anymore. Who knows what he's doing these days? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All right, so there we go. We're going through our Joe's top 10 list. So he just had a top 5 tight ends list. Now he just finished up his top 10 quarterbacks.
There you go.
And now we are heading to the juice of it all here.
But before
the meat
we
and
get to the
potatoes.
receivers here,
What's up? What do you
just
got?
want to say thank everybody for coming and joining us on the show. Welcome to the show. If you're new to the show, we really appreciate you stopping by. Make sure while you're here, while you're listening, why don't you head over to YouTube? I don't know if anybody's out there that's already on YouTube. If you're watching us right now for the first time and you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe to us, please. We much appreciate it. And hit that notification bell so that way you get all the latest and greatest updated content from us. Also, we're on Facebook. You can search us up, Football on the No Show. Join the group. Be a part of the Know-It-Alls. And then also we try to do our very best to keep up with the latest news around the NFL on Twitter at FB_no. But thanks, everybody.
Absolutely. Mike Tackett is in here. He's already on it, Joe. He says, my top 5 quarterbacks. Number 1, Joey B. 2, Justin Herbert. 3, Jordan Love. 4, Jacob Eason. And then Tua rounding it at number 5. There you go. I was just gonna say that. You guys, there's Joe's top 5s and top 10s. If you guys have your own, go ahead, show them up, bring them up here in the comment section. We'll check them out, whether you agree with us or not, or Joe. And
Everybody's got their own opinions.
Everybody has their own opinions. No big deal here. We're not going to yell at you. We don't say you're wrong or anything like that.
You're wrong, Jim.
Yeah. Joe will say I'm wrong all the time. That's fine, but I can take it. I have thick skin. That's fine. But you guys, you're okay out there. So there you go. Joe's doing his top 10 quarterbacks. He did his top 5 tight ends, and now we're moving on to the top 10 wide receivers here in the draft coming up. This is Joe's top 10. Here we got at number 10, Joe.
KJ Hamler.
All right.
Speedy wide receiver from Penn State. He runs terrific routes, catches amazing. He has some amazing catching reels if you ever want to check him out. But super fast, quick, elusive. Now, here's the thing, is I'm telling you right now, this was probably the toughest ranking system that I ever had to do for any one position ever. I had nightmares over this because it's that hard. It's not so cut and dry like it used to be. Now you have a plethora of receivers out there really deep in this draft to where it's just what flavor you like. Do you like them big? Do you like them small? Do you like them fast? Do you like them great 50-50 guys? There's a lot to like in this draft. And this top 10, I had a top 38, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, I know. That
And
was
to
rough.
shrink this to top 10 is absolutely insane. And this still doesn't do the position justice. But here we go. We have KJ Hamler. And at number 9, we have Michael Pittman Jr. From USC. This is one of those receivers that I think is kind of going a little bit under the radar. I think as we get closer to the draft, his name will start to surface up, might end up going up the draft boards a little farther than what he is. But this dude is not only a big physical receiver, but he has speed to go with it. He catches he has some ridiculous catching opportunities in that game and makes them. It's absolutely insane. So check out Michael Pittman Jr. He's my number 9 receiver. And number 8, we have from Arizona State, Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk. Now, here's the thing. Before I got some recent news about Brandon is he just got done doing muscle core surgery in the hospital. So I know a lot of people when they hear injury right before the draft, they're like, "Oh, drop him down. We don't want to take him too early." And I never really understood that. If you have a player that, even if he was healthy beforehand and you had him rated super high, why drop him? Take him anyway. He's going to heal, and when he heals, he can perform for you for the upcoming season. So, if that does come into, it comes into the equation here that he should slip a little bit. But Brandon Ayuk is a dynamite player. He's more like of a Deebo Samuel type of guy. Physical. You could put him in the slot. I think he could also be a number 2 in the end. A guy that runs phenomenal routes, catches a lot, and has a huge wingspan. So watch out for Brandon Ayuk.
Mm-hmm. Mike Tackett joins
say?
in. He says the only one wrong is Mooch. What a loser. And then he's got the laughing emoji.
Nice.
There you go. There you go.
Like
He's
it.
at number 8 now. What do you got?
We
next,
got number
Joe, for
7.
Number 7.
One of my favorite receivers is Chase Claypool out of Notre Dame. This dude is not only huge, 6'5", 250, but runs. Get this, he runs a 4.40 for that size, and handles his body amazingly well. Like, he has excellent body control, runs good routes, has good hands. He could be a nightmare of a player for whatever team decides to pick him. But Chase Claypool, I got at number 7. And number 6, I got the fast, speedy Gonzalez himself, Henry Ruggs III. Henry Ruggs out of Alabama. Now, you might say, a lot of people are going to disagree with me here because as we get closer to the top of this list, I know almost everybody will.
Yeah, I
but
think so.
Henry Ruggs III, he was the fastest guy coming out. He runs a 4.27 40. It's absolutely crazy. It's very similar to a Tyreek Hill type player. He's about the same stature, same height, and he's super fast, and he's a playmaker after you get the ball in his hands. The only problem that I saw with Ruggs is that when you start to press this guy, which a lot of teams are going to do now that they're going to get some college game tape on him, these defensive minds, and they're going to say, no, we're going to play press man on him. He struggled against press man. So even though he's the fastest, he might not be the most complete guy out there on the field, but he is number 6. And number 5, I got his Alabama teammate. I know it's blasphemy. I know. But Jerry Jeudy is my number 5 receiver, and it's almost for the same reason. However, this kind of reason that I'm about to tell you, it goes for both of these guys, is they both played on Alabama's high-powered offense. They had Tua to throw them the ball. They had each other to feed off of, to play with the defenses, almost like cats playing with yarn. They were toying with these defenses week to week. And I have to wonder. I know Jerry Jeudy is the best pass rusher coming out. He has great speed. He catches well, but he's not the most physical type of receiver that's out there. He's not the strongest guy to maybe fight off the press, to maybe block. He's not a good blocker either. So for your running game, he's not going to do a whole lot right now at this point. So I have some concerns with both these guys because they played on a high-powered offense. They played together. So really, how good are these guys coming into the draft? That's something that just kind of played through my mind, and that's why they're as low as some people might see. And number 4, I have the LSU Tiger, Justin Jefferson. Yes, I have him above those two Bama guys. And Justin Jefferson, to me, proved a lot. Now, one of the big questions about him was speed. Does he have enough speed? Is he going to be like a 4.6 guy? He actually ran a surprising 4.4 40. So he's a big receiver, physical, makes a lot of tough catches. Now, the one thing he does need to refine is his route running, I think, a little bit better. But if he's going to get that nailed down, he's going to be a very dangerous receiver for years to come. Number 3, I have a product out of Florida, Van Jefferson. It's Jeff Jefferson's son. An NFL great. Now his son is coming in to make a name for himself. Van Jefferson out of Florida. This kid is electric. He played for the Florida Gators. Super fast, tall. He's a physical receiver. Had made amazing plays for the Gators, and he looks like a very good. He could be one of the top complete receivers coming out of this draft. He does have an injury, so I know a lot of people have him a little bit lower, but watch out for his name. He's going to be a difference maker. And at number 2, I have from Oklahoma, CeeDee Lamb. I can just imagine all you guys right now saying, what? He's not number 1? What? Are you kidding me? Jerry Jeudy's not up there with them? Henry Ruggs isn't up there with them? No, I mean, I'm just saying, this is my personal opinion. I just see some flaws in some of these guys' games. Now, CeeDee Lamb, I don't think he has a major flaw, okay? Don't get it twisted here, but CeeDee Lamb, he's a very physical guy. I kind of see the resemblance of a DeAndre Hopkins in him. He's a very physical guy. He runs about the same 40. He runs a 4.5 40 for his size and his physical nature, but he is tremendous with the football after the catch. Very, very good prospect. He's going to be a great player for whoever takes him. And at number 1, you're like, who the hell's at number 1 right now? I have a kid out of Baylor. That's right, a kid out of Baylor in Denzel Mims. I know what you're thinking right now. You think I lost my mind. But here's what I'll tell you about Denzel Mims. Now, Denzel Mims, I watched a lot of tape on this guy, and he's the most, in my mind, he's the most complete receiver coming out. He's got great size. He's got phenomenal hands. He's deadly fast. He ran a 4.38 40. He's huge. He's just amazing. And the other thing that kind of tipped the scale for me with Mims is he's a tremendous blocker. I know that kind of goes underrated for receivers. We all want to see the big catch, the one-handed catch in the end zone. We all want to see the guy that just
who the hell
they just make
cares?
They just make it to where he also runs great routes. So the thing is with Mims is he's just the most complete receiver in my mind, and that's why he ended up number 1 on my list.
There you go. That's right. There you go. It's shocking for some of you out there. I know it's going to be a little crazy here, but who knows? You know, we have been right in these drafts at times, you know, here and there. So, I mean, and all the analysts, you want to say that's doing all these mock drafts, they change them all the time and here and there. And they're not right half the time either. So, I mean, it's fun to talk about. You guys, I'm sure, have your own lists out there. Let's see it. Let's light it up here on the comments, too. Joe, let's go look back over and see what you just did here. It's Joe's top 5 tight ends in the upcoming draft here. So check it out and look out for these names coming up. And now next up he did Joe's top 10 quarterbacks here. Again, Tua, he changed at the last second here with Joe Burrow. So that's like a 1A, 1B, and you can flip-flop them here. And again, it's just because of question mark even too with the injury of Tua. But I'm sure anybody would take these and again,
be very happy.
Joe Burrow is you know the hot name right here too with some teams here. Is Cincinnati going to go with him?
Yeah,
you know, or is he going to still hang out there with some other people? Who knows? You never know. You heard last minute here. I'm just going to jump in front of this quick. What happened with the, with the Browns? You heard all they were Sam Darnold, they were this and this right until like the eve or so of the draft, and that's when they go Baker Mayfield. All of a sudden, everything. Oh, it's Baker Mayfield. Feed it to everybody. Here it comes Baker. So you never know what's going on with this.
But that's the thing is they feed fake news all the time. You know, that's the thing. You can't believe every article that comes out. You can't believe every journalist or media, person that has their inside information, because a lot of times it's false. It's not true at all. And None of these guys. I know they're considered experts, and they do have their own sources that are kind of maybe inside the team or something like that. But a lot of times they're not being fed 100% truth all the time. Sometimes they want the journalists to report something like, "Oh, I heard this," because they want it to be out there. They want other teams to be like, "Really? That's what they're doing?" No. So they want to create that confusion. They want it to kind of mix it up with everybody, and then in the end, there's going to be some picks where we're like, I didn't picture that guy going that early. Well, I didn't picture that guy falling. So there's definitely players throughout this draft who are trying to get pushed up into the first round, and there's some big names out there that we're going to see that end up falling into the second round or further.
All right, here Mike Tackett has his own list here for the top 10 wide receivers. Well, let me go here. We'll get to Mike Guerrero in just a second here. Mike Tackett at number 10. Shenault Jr. here at number 10. Ayuk at number 9. Mims at number 8. Number 7, Rigger. Number 6, Higgins. Number 5, Claypool. And what the heck is going on right there? What was that just happened? I don't even know what this is right now. Something just happened. All right, interesting.
That's your Xbox
Joe?
account, bro.
I don't know what was that. You guys didn't see that, but man, something just happened on our monitor. And number 4 is Jefferson. Which Jefferson?
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson.
And Ruggs is number 3. Jerry Jeudy number 2, and CeeDee Lamb number 1. That's Mike Tackett's top 10 list for wide receivers. Let's take a look back at Joe's here again. Here's Joe's top 10 wide receivers in the draft here. Take a look at these. See what you think. If you agree, disagree, let us know. If you have your own top 10, drop them on us.
Definitely.
And, who knows? Maybe we'll see draft night. Some of these guys get called, randomly.
It's definitely fun.
For what team? That's the thing. Certain players, you could talk about this guy's this guy's that. Certain players fit certain schemes for other teams. This is my kind of guy, just like you just said.
Right.
I know your type of guy for like a player, and I like to say he's tall, he has some speed, and he can be physical. That's, I think, your type of player. I mean, that's what you usually like.
No, you got to have the complete package.
That is pretty much the complete package.
No, because you got to be able to run routes great.
Oh yeah,
good.
yeah.
You can't just have poor route running and just be big.
Oh no,
and
I
fast.
know that.
You got to have good hands. You got to be able to block. That's something that goes way undervalued. If your receiver can block, you know how much that opens up your running game on the outside. It's insane. So I mean, that thing is. I think that's one of those things. It's one of those attributes that get overlooked big time. So it's really got to be about everything. It is everything, every aspect.
All right, now Mike Guerrero joins us here. Justin Jefferson. We thought so, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike Guerrero says, "Can the internet crash on draft night here?" It might. Just because of if they're going to be streaming, like you could stream and watch on the internet, I guess maybe like everybody can join in and like focus in on the NFL, like through their own computer.
But that's the thing is you don't need to.
On the one thing,
you're going to watch it on ESPN.
Yeah, exactly. Because
I mean, unless you don't have ESPN, I get it. There are going to be people out there that are going to have to like stream the draft because that's the way that they have to view it. But the only thing is, I would say this. It would have to be like one of those things where like if everybody's streaming at the same time, all about just for the draft,
right.
I could see a crash then. But I don't think it's going to go to that to that level.
Yeah,
I really,
as far as even like internet itself, but if like the NFL, like I said, held it on like a server, sort of like how when like the Call of Duty, whenever it comes out. Their server, whatever, when they bring it on, they still don't figure out that tons of people are going to be on there, and it lags and it crashes when everybody tries to get on and play multiplayer that one opening night, and it crushes. Now, I don't think the NFL is going to go in that route, like you said, even too. They're not even going to have people on their studios, covering this. It's going to be mainly ESPN here, and everybody else is going to follow suit with all that.
And that's the other thing too is
private. Server themselves doing the draft.
But we also talked about precautions, and that's probably plan C, is if something was to happen to where the internet crashed for this draft. That
they're going to bring out the fax machines again.
They're going to have they'll just have a backup where only the teams are going to be able to get on it. We're not going to be able to witness anything. We're not going to be able to get into like to view at that point. But all we're going to be viewing is ESPN anyway. Yeah. It's not going to. We're not like kind of tapping into a portal with NFL owners and everything. We're going to be watching the draft that way. We're all going to be paying attention to ESPN. We're all going to be watching ESPN or streaming ESPN. So actually, if anything was to crash, it's going to be ESPN server.
Yeah, exactly, you know what I mean?
Right. So then you might have to go online and just wait for a pick to pop up. Is it refresh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So
Chris Black Williams joins us here tonight.
What's going on, Chris?
He says, do you think that Jonathan Taylor falls in the draft to pick 54?
You know, this is the craziest thing. Now, okay, I haven't done all my research on running backs just yet, but that's coming up probably next week. But I will tell you, before I even see tape, and I've watched games with Jonathan Taylor. I've watched games with J.K. Dobbins and St. Hilaire and all these other running backs. Now, my take on Taylor is I completely disagree with some of these experts and say, well, Taylor's the 5th best running back. No, you're out of your mind. Jonathan Taylor is a big physical running back who runs ridiculous at a ridiculous speed, and he can do everything. He can also catch out of the backfield. He can block. This dude, I think, is the best running back coming out in this draft. And I think Jonathan Taylor, I think if everybody is looking at it for what it is, I really don't necessarily think that Taylor will fall to 54. I think you're going to see a team that needs a running back or could use help at running back in the lower end of the first round end up taking him. And I think it's either going to be a guy like Taylor, who I absolutely love, or J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State. I think these guys are going way undervalued, and I understand DeAndre Swift is supposed to be the number one guy going off the board. Well, what a lot of people are expecting, but Swift, to me, he has injury concerns. He's kind of like just a receiving type back. He's got speed, but he's not real stout enough. He can't block. He can't do a lot of things. He can't be a 3-down back. So. To me, I'm a little perplexed why the so-called experts out there really kind of are all in on Swift and not as much on Taylor.
Yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. You never know. Again, draft night.
It's going to be crazy, dude.
It's going to be crazy. This is going to be
there's going to be a lot of,
we've ever
and
seen.
Look,
before.
And that's the crazy thing is there's a few teams that have multiple first-round picks in this year's draft. Dolphins got 3 of them, which is crazy. So just imagine what could possibly happen. Trading up, trading down, a lot of picks, a lot of movement possibly. You just never know with the draft, and we as football fans cannot wait to see what kind of hysteria ends up developing.
Speaking of hysteria, too, I mean, think of it this way. A lot of people go out for the draft to watch it. We also as well. We go to draft parties and things like that.
True.
And all that's closed down right now in a lot of areas. I don't know about some of the
No
other
go.
people in other states, but right now in New York, we are all the bars closed down except for takeout.
That's right. You can get
So
takeout.
now draft parties, that's not happening, especially if you're practicing social distancing, unless you break the rules down and say you're going to have some few people over to watch this. But
Right.
now you're going to be home. You're going to try and watch this here. It's something different that doesn't traditionally happen here. I don't know how your significant other is with you sitting there and watching football, but sitting there and watching the draft for hours upon end and being into this could create some turmoil too as well at home. I mean, because this is something that's important to you, and that you're going to try and take over the TV and watch this and stuff.
yeah.
You're going to be in your own little war room.
You better have
and
more
house
than
too.
one TV.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to get pretty crazy, I think, all together with everything.
Absolutely.
So, all right, let's move on to our NFL proposals here. You know, this is the time too where the teams actually can talk to the committee here and say, this is what we want to keep, but if it's not proposed, it goes out the door.
Right.
So I know that one of the hot topics was the pass interference calls that were supposed to be called this year or whatever, and go over and stuff like that and under review, but a lot of that just got thrown under the swept under the floor like it never happened. They're kind of like, yeah, we looked at it quick. No, it's not pass interference. Move on. So that I don't think has been proposed again. So it looks like that is going to be completely out the door anyways. And it's not like they really utilized it this year anyways. I think maybe
terrible.
they overturned it once. It seemed like they scoffed at it, didn't even bother giving it a chance.
It was completely on the officials. Let's put this out there right now. The refs as a whole did not want this rule anyway.
No.
They didn't want to have to review these plays. And because of that, the officiating crew and the guys that are ahead of it, I'm sorry, it's hard to argue, but they did not want to reverse anything because they wanted this rule to go away from day one. Now, once that got instilled, they're like, oh, we're going to try it. We're going to do some reviews. Every time somebody threw a flag to challenge the call, they just weren't going to overturn it. They just weren't going to. They refused to. Instead of doing what fans want. Fans just want a fair game, the fairest game you can call possible, so that way we don't feel like we're cheated as fans. Our teams aren't cheated out of a win, or you know what I mean. So it bothers me because they kind of took it into their own agenda to be like, you know what? Well, no, we're not going to do it. But then because of all the fans being in outrage, the coaches being outraged, everybody was pissed off at the refs. The refs felt a lot of pressure. Now, the NFL had a lot of pressure in this, too, and they're like, they had all these complaints. And the NFL, I'm sorry, but it seemed like after almost halfway through the year, probably even a little bit after that, all of a sudden, we started getting calls overturned. Well, gee, now what? Why? Because you're getting a lot of pressure about this? So now they just want it to go away. I think coaches are fed up. They don't even want to try to do this another year because of they know they're not going to get anywhere. Mm-hmm. They know the refs kind of have them by the cojones. So they're just like, forget it. We just don't even want to review. Let's move on and forget it. So because also if a proposal is not reenacted, so like this reviewable challenge flag or whatever, if it's not brought up for the next following year, they just kind of do away with it because nobody's proposing it to keep going.
Nobody's proposing to amend it or keep it going. That's the things that happen right now. Chris Black Williams in here again. He says, who do you think Buffalo will draft with their first pick in the second round at number 54? Or do you think Bean moves up or down? Hashtag Bills for life. So there you go. He's a Bills fan.
Bills
That's
fan. All right.
That's there right there.
Circle the wagons, bro.
I got a few questions for him after that, but what do you think here, Joe? Go ahead.
And here's the thing. This is one of those drafts where it's super deep to the point where you really don't necessarily have to be in the second round. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's a luxury to be in the first round and take one of these stellar players. But they're still going to be there. You're going to see so many guys that have first-round talent slip into the second round and slip into the third round even. So you don't necessarily have to be picking up there. Now, everybody has their guy, that they really, really want. For the Bills, and this is what I said going into last year. I said they really need to upgrade this offensive line. You have Josh Allen. You traded for Stephon Diggs. Now you got Diggs and John Brown and Cole Beasley. That's a nice receiving core right there. You add a stronger offensive line to help protect your asset in Josh Allen and to give him more time to throw the ball. And even if the play breaks down and no one's open, he can take off with his legs with ease because no one's even around him. So I really see the Bills targeting offensive line and getting extra help for this offense. It just makes the most sense. The Bills' defense is still rock solid. I know Lorenzo Alexander retired, but I think they're going to be able to make do. They could possibly take a linebacker in the third round or something like that to kind of really a pass-rushing type guy. So I think the Bills are going to be just fine, but I really do strongly believe that they really need to hit on offensive line in this draft.
Now, my question is here for him now, seeing he brought up the Jonathan Taylor falling to 54. Now, does he do you have an issue with like Devin Singletary here as your running back, or do you think you need more depth here at running back, and what they have is TJ Yeldon here,
right?
Because he wants him obviously, or something.
No,
he had a question possibly about
because he wants a little lightning and thunder.
Probably.
He wants Taylor to be that physical guy who has speed, who could be a number one for anybody. But you have Singletary who could also That'd be a nice 1-2 punch. I'm not going to lie. That would be pretty nice if you could get it. And
then my other question for you, Chris, is on the Stephon Diggs trade, do you think the Bills might have went a little too much on that trade? Compensation-wise on that. Because, yes, don't get me wrong, he's a good player.
He's
but
really
as
good,
far as number one, number one pick, I don't know about that, so much, for him. It's tough. Because it's how you look at him in your own eyes, I guess. I think even one of the Vikings Twitter handles that we follow here too, they even said that now that Stephon Diggs is gone, who's your favorite Viking or something? And I was like, That's kind of disrespectful to Adam Thielen, I would say so, because it's like
Yeah,
you're
right?
acting like Stephon Diggs is not there, like he was everybody's automatic favorite
yeah.
Viking. Like I don't get
Uh-huh.
that here. So I'm just like, in my eyes, Stephon Diggs was a good 1B, but I don't think he was your 1A.
I don't know. I really like the Great White Hype.
Yeah.
That's what I call him. Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
He's an amazing receiver. Runs
Yeah,
really good
Lightning and
routes.
Thunder.
Great
See,
catch.
that's what he was getting.
Yeah,
at.
yep.
I hear
Mr.
you.
Williams, appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that you can't just say, oh well, we're done. Here's the thing. This is what the Vikings are thinking now. Now, this draft is super deep at receiver. They could easily find themselves another starting caliber receiver to go opposite Adam Thielen, and even more than that, they could even get two that are that capable of taking over the job. So I think the Vikings are in a good spot, and I think this is the one year that if you're going to trade away a high talented receiver, this would be the year to do it because you can get a first round quality receiver later in this draft.
And he says, no, they didn't overpay here because I trust the process with Bean and McDermott. It seems like it's working out so far for you guys.
They're making
We'll
the right
see.
decisions.
They're making the right decisions, and now this is a pinnacle year here now in this division.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The Dolphins are really making moves. They've got a lot of picks again here, but who's their quarterback moving forward? We don't know right
It's
now.
Ryan Fitzy.
Who knows what's going on moving forward with them. The Jets, they're kind of at a spot where they needed a wide receiver, and they had some injuries last year. Darnold, he's kind of up and down. You're not sure what's going on with them. So what's happening with the Jets? They were on the cusp of something happening a little bit, but again, maybe they're another year behind.
Oh,
Bills
they
looked
have
really
to.
great last year.
Definitely.
We thought they would give that chance to push the Patriots, and now Patriots look
They did a
vulnerable for once in a decade or so.
Yeah.
Who's they going to be the quarterback for them? Is it going to be Jarrett Stidham? Are they going to stick with him here? Or are they going to go and draft one of these guys that are still lingering out there?
They're
Who
all
knows?
in on him. They're all in
So-
on Stidham as far as the Patriots go. And I
So it's
want
an
to say
interesting
this,
division
too,
moving
is
forward.
the Jets, they have 2 years of rebuilding because now they literally have no receiver besides Jamison Crowder, and he's not an outside receiver. So in this draft, I definitely see them taking their first-round pick.
Yeah.
Is it 8, I think? I think they're picking 8th overall,
I was just
maybe.
looking at that.
If you know it all, know it. Please go ahead and comment below. Let me know where they're picking. But the Jets, they have to take a home run hitter. They got to. They could be a team that takes a guy like CeeDee Lamb. You know what I mean? To really kind of give this franchise a boost, give Darnold some help because Lord knows he needs weapons. And the other thing that they got to do, tackles. They don't have a real good offensive line. They can't hardly protect Sam Darnold. He doesn't have that much time. So there's a lot that they got to build off of. They got to fill the holes on defense. Leonard Williams
have
get
11th.
traded away. Oh, 11th.
11th.
Okay. So the Jets, they could easily take a receiver. So, there's a lot of things with that division, but here's the time. I think if the Bills could capitalize big time this year, if they shore up that offensive line, that's really one of just their major need that they have at this point. Besides maybe filling a couple depth spots on the defense. But other than that, this team's dangerous in the AFC. I think they could take the crown away from New England finally as long as they shore up that offensive line.
I really like their secondary, too, as well, too, what they've got going on there, too.
Kidding
Even
me?
in the addition of Josh Norman, I don't think he's the number one like he used to be, but that's a great spot, side to side here with Tre'Davious White and others.
Levi
so,
Wallace.
yeah.
That's the thing. That's the other thing, too, is Levi Wallace got hurt last year. So he didn't last the whole season. So you look at that tandem that they have right now with Levi Wallace and Tre'Davious White. That's a nice cornerback tandem, along with Jordan Poyer and the safeties back there. They got a lot brewing. Just wait on Buffalo. They're coming around.
Absolutely. Yeah, so definitely keep them coming. Keep the comments coming. What do you guys think about your teams moving forward with the draft? Also, Joe did his top 5 tight ends, his top 10 quarterbacks, and his top 10 wide receivers coming up in the draft. Give us your top 10s or top 5s. What do you guys think, out there? So keep posting that out on the comments.
Definitely.
Thank you. And also hit the subscribe button on Twitter, on our YouTube if you're out there. We're also streaming live on Facebook and Football on the No Show, our group. And also follow us on Twitter at FB_no. Let's get to now some more of these proposals here. Some of the teams are again voting to amend, keep the some of these rules in place, but One of them too is interesting here to me is modifying the blindside block rule to prevent unnecessary fouls. Now it's not even dealing with, and that was brought up by Philadelphia. So I'm thinking again, if you're getting the flag where is this guy suggested? Where is it exactly from his non-focal point? Because we saw last year there's a few blind sides, mainly one in the playoffs there, got called, and he pretty much was on the side frontal area.
He was in the front, part of the front. So
so they
because he had
to
his head
try
turned
and
away.
modify the rule. What does that exactly mean by modify it? But I'm guessing to put in better words where the location is for this to finally just be called and not a bad call is what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
From a side view, more from blocking the back, illegal blocking the back type of thing, I guess.
Yeah, I hear you on this, but this is a little difficult because of the way it's worded. It's like, really, what are they wanting to change? Because here's the interesting thing is, by changing this rule, how are you going to do that? Because a guy just has to turn his neck one way.
Yeah.
If I turn my neck all the way to my right shoulder, there's no way. Even if you're partially in front of me, there's no way I'm going to see you. I'm looking down the field this way, and I get clocked. You can't. The rule is too hard and too fickle to kind of tinker with it and try to change it to fit it, to make it just right and make it right all the time. It's one of those gray area rules where it's never going to be 100% right.
Oh, by the way, we have Greg Schreiner in the house here. He's joining us.
What's going on, Greg? Welcome to the show, buddy.
He's a Buffalo fan, too, so I'm sure he's interested to talk about this.
Absolutely.
Chris Black Williams says he's a Buffalo fan. He was
That's
just talking
Greg,
about the 54th pick.
Greg, meet Chris. Chris, meet Greg. Buffalo Bills fans.
Together. Yeah, there we go. There you go. Replying to Greg. Bills for life. See, there you go.
There
Bills
you go.
Mafia. All right, here we go. Chris says, Raiders fan on the right of the screen. What team do you root for? Guy on the left side of the screen. Oh, yeah, just curious.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm Jimmy, by the way. This is Joe. We are Football on the Know with Jim and Joe. I am a Giants fan because I've been a New Yorker my whole life. Just brought it up. My uncle was a big fan. What's funny is because my uncle brought me into the football kind of genre.
The world?
Yeah, the world. Like, I would go over to his house, and he would have the games on and stuff like that. My father... I didn't realize he was into football a little bit until I was a little older. He never really sat and watched it. He was always working and doing a lot of stuff.
Okay.
He was just active.
Yep.
But he was a Steelers fan. And when I was little, I even had like a Franco Harris jersey.
Did
with
you have a
fake
terrible
little
towel?
helmet. No, I don't think so. But I mean, he set me up already to be a Franco Harris Steelers guy.
Yeah, he was trying
but
to groom you.
I don't know. I think I just hit the Giants at the one time to where, again, it was the 80s,
Right.
There's Bill Parcells' year. Boom, they're playing great. LT, Pepper Johnson. Everybody's playing good. Phil Simms, 2 Super Bowls in a few years.
Yeah.
It was the right timing for me right
it
there.
It kind of just lit the spark there.
And since then, I've been, a fan. I've stuck through thick and thin. I'm not a jumper, a bandwagoner.
Loyal.
And all this
You're a
other
loyal
stuff
guy.
like that.
Loyal guy.
So that's a Giants fan through and through.
For sure.
All right, he says,
thanks, Chris.
Mark G's, or is that Mark Gee? Mark Gee is in the house.
Mark Gee, what's
Yes,
going on,
all
buddy?
right, yeah, he's a go Bills. We got the Bills fans
look
laid
at
up.
this. They're just filing in here.
New York love up in here. You know what I'm saying? Only one New York team. Your family failed you. Oh, man.
Oh, shots fired.
Yeah, man, that sucks. All right, there we go.
For those of you that don't know us, that's Jim.
Yes.
It's Joe.
Yep.
And we are Football on the Know.
Yes.
So thanks, everybody. Welcome to the show. I love to see you guys getting really inspired,
G,
getting
that's
all
how
in
you
on
pronounce it. Boom, G.
Oh,
Boom.
G.
There
I
you
like
go.
it.
So there you go. Yeah.
So you're a true G, brother.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, he says hi, Jim and Joe. Chris does too as well. Yeah, excellent, man. So yeah, we're all in here together. We talk about all different types of teams and things here. So if you guys are just joining us, I see that Buffalo love even too. This is great. Any of the topics we talk about, go ahead and throw them out there to us if you want, and also draft questions moving forward. We were just going over some of the proposals that have been mixing up. Also, another one is
nice. Marco's the OG.
Yeah, the OG. There we go.
Awesome.
Another one by Philadelphia. It seems like Philadelphia wanted to be like extreme on this. Like, we get the opportunity because all these other ones, like Miami and Baltimore, they're like, let's just amend, let's keep these ones going.
Yep.
Philadelphia knocks some 2 more out here at the
All
NFL
right,
here.
let's hear him.
And Mark G, the thoughts on Bills ranked 7 in power rankings. I mean, power rankings for me, I don't care about power rankings because that's relative here and there, and especially now, what's the point right now at this point? Because teams are going to change here and there. And
the teams change every single year, and as far as power rankings go, like I'm kind of along the same lines you are. Is I just feel it's such an opinionated type of ranking system and everything. And
what
really,
does that even mean?
Who's more powerful? Like, what the heck does that mean? Like, do you have a better record, so you're number 1 or number 3? What is that? It's all subjective. It's a bunch of malarkey that the media has invented just for something to talk about. Now, you want to have a conversation of who do you think the best team in the AFC East, who the best team in the AFC North, like that kind of thing. Yeah, sure, we can debate about it. We can talk about it. Why not? But as far as power rankings go, I mean, for me personally, and I think you feel the same, I just don't even bother with doing power rankings. I just think
he
they're
says
ridiculous.
he agrees, but thoughts on progress for Bills and how we're fall in AFC. We were just talking a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Again,
Mark,
you want to take it? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Right,
Mark,
sure.
I mean, you just missed it almost like a few seconds ago. I don't know when you tuned in. But we touched on the Buffalo Bills a little bit, and just saying we were talking about the Stephon Diggs trade, how you guys now have a real complete receiving core, and the offense looks like it could really take a huge step forward. However, they do need to strengthen up that offensive line. They do that, and Buffalo could be a very dangerous team in the AFC. We're already seeing the kind of a decline that the New England Patriots are undergoing right now. Now they're trying to figure out who the quarterback is. It no longer Tom Brady. The Bills have a real opportunity right now if they capitalize on in the draft and they make it work. You could see the Buffalo Bills take that division with ease.
Yep.
They're the most complete team right now in that division. And they have their quarterback. They have weapons. They got a really good defense. There's a lot to like in Buffalo. So I'm really optimistic for the Buffalo Bills fans, Bills Mafia. And I really think that if they do that, if they add a couple of strong personnel in that offensive line unit, watch out. They're going to take it.
They're making all the right moves, and we said this last year to some of the teams when people were talking about this. A lot of Jets fans coming out there already were trying to say, we've got Le'Veon Bell, we've got this, we're going to move it, make the push.
And
we'll
how'd that work
see how
out?
this moves forward. We said that Le'Veon Bell was going to get shut down, wasn't even going to have any kind of thing. Yeah, if he's your whole team, people are going to target that. Then you got what do you got?
Exactly.
You got nothing.
They put all that money into the running back position,
Right.
but not in the offensive line that you need to block.
And then the Bills had the best opportunity, best chance, and they did play the Patriots hard. Could have come away with a win there in one game, but
Right.
It was tough. They made the playoffs again. They haven't done it in a while, and then there you go. They're on the up and coming. They're trending upwards.
For sure.
And also, they've been handling it and getting it done, I think, in the draft and in trades that they've been able to pull off
And
here.
free agency.
Getting Ed
They've done a
Oliver
great
last
job.
year again was a big point for them. So for him
He
to
fell
fall
into
that
their
far to them
laps.
was amazing. And where
fell
we
into
were
their
watching the
laps.
draft, it just blew our freaking minds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but moving forward, definitely. But I was bringing up the proposals here now with Philadelphia. All right, this is where they're getting crazy again. Here,
Cheers,
too.
Mark.
Yeah,
Mark says
absolutely.
cheers.
Cheers. There you go. I wish we had some beer over here right now, but we don't.
Maybe next
Philadelphia
week.
now, again, to make permanent the expansion of automatic replay reviews to include scoring plays, turnovers regulated by a foul, and any successful, unsuccessful try attempt. That's not that bad. That's
kind of the same thing that they already have.
Here we go. To provide an alternative to the onside kick that would allow a team who is trailing in the game an opportunity to maintain possession of the ball after scoring 4th and 15 from kicking team's 25-yard line. That's another one they're trying to bring out there.
No.
Yeah. It's again, change the allow. How are you guys on this? We want to ask you guys, too, about onside kicks. What's your take on this? Because I'm more of a traditionalist with don't mess with the rules too much, but I am open if you give me a good argument
If it's
for some of this.
if it's something
But
better.
if you're trying to tell me that within the last seconds of a game, you need to give the other team an opportunity, a chance to win the game, I'm not going to hear that because they had 60 minutes to win this game.
Right.
If they need those last couple seconds, well, too bad. You just didn't do it right. Plus, if you're getting the onside kick, there's your opportunity. The
Right.
chance is supposed to be miraculous that you finally had this opportunity to do this. You can pull it off, and there you go. There's your one glimmer of hope. There's your chance to get it done. We even seen this last year where the Patriots pulled off 3 onside kicks in the game in a row and
Yes,
successfully handled them all because of poor play by the other team. And was it the Falcons again? Because I think they were talking about even them
I
failing
don't
again and
remember.
letting them back in this game, and the ghosts were coming, I think it was. But it was scary, and it's like, wow, this is happening right now. And it happened there 3
Right,
times
right.
with onside
Yeah,
kicks.
and the other
So
thing,
that's the
too-
miraculous thing about it. I
Yeah.
don't think you need to set up a team
Yeah.
to they need to make a 4th and 15 to get into it.
But the
I
other
don't
thing
care.
too, what I'll say on that is, it also goes the other way. Sometimes it's on the defense that's got to stop an offense from getting first downs. Stop them from getting 2 first downs. Make them punt the ball back to you. Now you got your opportunity. And defenses just don't get it done. So you have all the opportunities in 60 minutes to get the job done, to get the W. And if you don't do it, why should that towards the end of the game be like, oh, I want to do the fourth down try? No, get out of here.
Also, just to throw in there too, I think even it gives you an opportunity for more injury with what they're trying to do on the onside kicks or kickoffs. That's a short little thing. It's very low impact. Guys are trying to catch just to get the ball
Wow.
to get it there. But you're talking about guys. Say the team has been down. They just set up 2-minute scoring drives. That defense is gassed. Now they have to go back
100%.
out there again on a 4th and 15
Right.
and try and stop them one more time. After
Already
they're
exhausted?
gassed.
Yeah.
That is not a good idea for me, and especially if I've been winning this game for 90% of the time here.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be. The
I wanna
thing.
give them
they
another
need their chance
opportunity
at
on
least
top
that
of everything.
kickoff,
Yeah.
if anything.
Yep.
And we've seen teams go 4 and out, and they're still kind of gassed a little bit.
Right.
Give them the opportunity to get a rest. So that's another one they performed. And one more with
What else we got?
Philadelphia here. Where is it? This is a little wordy. This is the only thing I want to bring up about
great.
this
Here
one.
we go.
To restore the preseason, regular season overtime to 15 minutes and implement rules to minimize the impact of the overtime coin toss. Now, what does that mean again? Does that mean implement rules? They want to change rules now to what they already have on the kicking the field
You know what it
goal,
might
or
be?
just keep it? Because they would say just amend. They
You know
would
what? You know
amend
what
the
it might.
rule.
You know what it might be. They want to change how the coin toss process works because we seen last year how some players had a problem where they said tails, clearly said tails, because you could hear it in the audio recording from the refs.
Yeah.
They replayed it like he said tails. Oh, he called heads. It's this team's
Yeah.
ball. No, you would see the player be like, "What are you talking about? I said tails."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh no, it's his ball. Where do you want to receive?" It's things like that. So that I think that's what that rule is about. They want to kind of change things. So like, I don't know what they would do about that kind of situation, but I also know that there's been some like late calls, either when they say call it in the air, and they might wait until like as it's getting closer. I don't think that really justifies if it's going to be heads or tails or not. But they want a more structured and straightforward coin toss. I think that's what that is interpreted like.
All right, and finally, I just want to bring up the main thing too that people were talking about, and it goes down to the XFL. How many
Okay.
people out there have watched even the XFL this season? I know a lot of people have.
Me.
A lot of people were into it, and some of the rule changes they did. A lot of people even like the interaction on the sidelines, and talking to them. But others,
Yeah.
again, even hearing the play call here and
I
there
don't-
is suspect.
You know who would
blah,
love
blah.
that? Bill Belichick
Yeah,
would
probably.
love
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
What's
absolutely.
the play? Okay, we tapped into
We
the
got
audio.
it.
Okay, that's the play. All right, let's watch
Yeah.
it. All right, now we know that play.
But right now they're talking about the skybox referee here.
Okay.
And Joe,
What
why
the
don't you
XFL did, yeah.
dig into that too? You watched a lot of the XFL.
Yeah, you know what? I was very skeptical. I'll be honest. I was very skeptical about the XFL returning. I wasn't sure if they were going to even be anything close to successful like they were. I was impressed by the play. Yes, it's diminished type of level of play, but still, altogether, it wasn't terrible. The only thing that I could complain about is like maybe the passing part of the game was a little need to be desired. But all in all, I did enjoy the skybox ref. It was a completely neutral one person in a box where they would just hit a button to signal down to the ref if they wanted to review a play. And they did it so efficiently, so quick. They didn't waste any time. The guy in the booth would signal down to the ref, like, we're going to take a look at that catch. And then he is physically looking at the video as he's talking to the ref down on the field and saying, okay, we have confirmation 2 feet inbounds. The catch has been secured all the way through. That's a catch. So then they would go out there, but we're changing. It is a catch, blah, blah, and move on throughout the game. And it literally took like a minute or 2 minute tops to get done. It was very quick, very efficient, and I would be all in if the NFL adopted that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have. That's one of the things that you've
The other,
heard.
I'm sorry to cut you off real quick, but the other thing about that, it was the audio was able for everybody to hear. If you were watching at home, you heard the audio between the skybox ref and the ref on the field. And that's something that I think the NFL should and needs to implement in an attempt to gain some trust from fans. Because let's be honest, we don't trust the NFL completely. We don't think that – sometimes we think our teams are being screwed left and right in the game, and it's true. We've seen it. Everybody's seen it. So we want that favoritism or the little bit of doubt that we have in the NFL and how the referees run. We want to be able to get in on that and see if it really is being truthful. And I think that's also what helped the XFL be be great at it, is because they were able to disclose that audio information. And you as a fan, you're watching at home and you're saying, okay, yep, no, that makes sense. I see that. Okay, that's the call. It's very simple. Come on, NFL. Get with it.
Yeah, listen. We fucked up.
There you go. That's basically what it says with the NFL there. So, yeah, I mean, it's something that we all want to see. It's transparency, Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we all want. We want to be able to hear what they're saying on the other side. Because, again, you've got the memes to where, like, oh, Tom Brady is going to sign this for my daughter. Yeah,
That's
sure.
right.
Well, boom, there you go. So, who knows?
But I think it has to stop there.
Oh, yeah.
As far as what the XFL was doing was, like, listening into plays and stuff, I think that was a little too much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to hear the play calls, but I think that's a little too much.
All right, so I mean that's going to round up for our show tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Make sure again we're going to plug it again. If you haven't already checked us out on YouTube, if you are on Facebook all the time, we understand that. That's cool. And join our group, Football on the Know Show. Just search there too. You'll find us there. Join a group, and then you could be in the know and be a know-it-all. And
Speaking of being a know-it-all, we got one that just chimed in right towards the end of the show.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Jonathan
Go Raiders,
says,
Vegas.
Go Raiders, Vegas 2020.
Absolutely.
That's right, brother.
Yeah,
Rock on.
yeah. And so you see all the updates that's posted on our group, and you can talk about things. And also on Twitter, things that we tweet out there.
Yes,
and like I said, YouTube, hit the subscribe button, notifications, and watch us on YouTube as well, so you can always take us on the go wherever you can. And thanks so much for joining us.
Tune in next week.
See you
Wednesday,
next week, definitely.
8 p.m. Eastern.
Happy Easter, everybody out there.
Good night, know-it-alls.
Join us from 8 till 10 Wednesday night for more Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.